After Austin police say they jumped a teenager, then locked themselves in a home with children inside.
This all started just before 9 this morning in southeast Austin. A teen was held up at knife point near the South Austin Park and Rec Center, and then a few blocks away, that standoff started. KXAN's Reagan Hackleman is there live tonight with the story. Reagan.
Well, Leslie and Robert, first, those children that were in the house when the SWAT situation started, we are told they are doing just fine this evening. Now, if you take a look behind me, you will still see police officers out here and crime scene officers out here trying to figure out exactly what happened here this morning. Now, one of the neighbors who lives nearby that we spoke with told us that it actually started early this morning, about 6 o'clock, with a drive-by shooting. Rosemary Alegria was making breakfast Wednesday morning when she heard something out of the ordinary for her South Austin neighborhood.
And all of a sudden I heard 5 shots.
Rosemary said she ran to the door and saw a black pickup driving away from this house. A few hours later, while Rosemary sat on her front porch, the police showed up and surrounded the same house.
They went and knocked on the door and told them to open the door and step outside because they were all under arrest.
Police say inside the house, 4 or 5 suspects who police believe robbed a 16-year-old teenager at knife point on Juanita Drive earlier that morning. Also in the house, 2 women and their young children.
It is a little scarier when there are children involved because we don't know if they're being, held, if anybody's being held against their will. In this case, they weren't, thank God. 3 suspects were caught when they tried to flee out the back door. Shortly after, the 2 women and their children left the house. None were injured. The other suspects finally came out of the house after police used distraction devices. It's also known as flash grenades. We take every precaution necessary so that they can end without anybody being injured, which we were very successful in this standoff.
A standoff that had Rosemary and other neighbors worried for hours.
Yes, it did, because it's very quiet here, Nobody, you don't see any shootings or anything like that. You don't.
Now, the neighbor says one of the suspects that was taken into custody actually lives in the house you're looking at right now with his wife and kid. We also asked APD about the shots fired here this morning. They tell us they do not have any reports of shots being fired here. Police are also not telling us right now if the victim and the suspects actually knew each other. Reporting live from South Austin, Reagan Hackleman, KXAN Austin News.
New at 5, another